everyone, welcome to the Strawberry Patches podcast, episode 61. Wow, it's been 4 years now and the 61st episode. Welcome to this knitting, spinning, yarn related space. My name is Marina. I am a Russian girl living with my family in New Zealand, in Auckland, and I welcome you very, very warmly to join me today. I have so much to show you. I have my table covered with yarn and finished objects and my notes and patterns. So I really hope that you are going to enjoy this episode. Everyone who is new, very briefly, I am a Russian girl who lived for a while in Turkey, and then I met my husband. We moved to Bali, and since 2018 we've been living here in New Zealand, and here is where I had my daughter. So if you haven't watched the previous episode with all the baby knits, and I even have some episodes back in Istanbul when I was there, please, I welcome you to go and watch them again, and I hope you enjoy to see this progression of my learning of knitting and spinning and yarn dyeing. And yes, I am a yarn dyer, and today I'm going to show you some of my babies. So I hope you stay for that. But as usual, I'm going to start with my finished objects. And if you are not new and if you are returning, big welcome to this channel. I've missed you guys. I really had a lot to tell you, but I've been busy with my husband's birthday and wanting to finish something before I record. So today, yes, I have 2 finished objects for you guys. One of them I'm wearing, and this shawl is a part of our knit-along, which is called, here's the hashtag, the SHAWLSOMELOVEKAL. And you are more than welcome to join it. I will leave the link for the Ravelry group. If you can't find it, Strawberry Patches podcast Ravelry group has all the information there. So we started on the Valentine's Day, and for 3 months we're going to be knitting shawls. This is my first shawl that I've finished, and this is called the Kindness Shawl. I really loved knitting with it because the yarn, I have a little bit of it left here for you guys. And yes, I just had my manicure done today, ready for Easter, as you can see. This is my hand spun yarn, which I spun, well, not especially for this project, but I did it a bit thicker than normally I would do 4-ply. And I really enjoyed making this gradient yarn, which I applied 2 kind of beds together. One of them I spun as a gradient up to here, and another one with just similar colors, and I did not really care about that. So this beautiful shawl is called Kindness, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It starts here, and it has this beautiful eyelet motif here and some really gorgeous lace that I haven't really done before. As you can see, my yarn also has some stellina. Well, I guess it's called stellina. And it's a very textured yarn that I got here, as you can see. And it blocked out so beautifully. See, I have some bits of thin and thick yarn, but I think on the whole it's perfect. So here is when I ran out of those 2 skeins that I plied, and this yarn is totally different. It has rabbit content in here, and it's super soft. It's much softer than this yarn, which is Corriedale, a mix. And here I have some rabbit, and it's just gives this, can you see the halo? There you go. It's just super warm and soft. And my daughter, now it's really chilly in the mornings, so she actually likes to wear it in the mornings, which just makes me so happy. I knitted it for myself, but if she wants to wear it, of course I'm gonna give it to her, right? She's 2 years old, and she's going to be, what? She's 2 years, 4 months old, and she's shown lots of interest in my knitting and spinning, and yeah, I have a second spinning wheel, which is a bit older, and she says, that's my spinning wheel, so I'm gonna spin it. And she you know, touches the paddle and she enjoys watching the wheel go around. Makes me happy, but I just hope she doesn't ruin it because it's a really nice traditional looking spinning wheel that I love.
Ой, ты это выпьешь?
Да.
Я еще вынесу.
Давай.
Я котенка пошла. Он больше туда не пойдет.
Красивая у мамы пряжа? Да?
У нее наклеечка.
Наклеечка. Какая тебе больше нравится? Какой цвет?
И котенок.
Котенку какой больше нравится?
Розовый.
Розовый, и мне тоже нравится.
Тебе нравится зеленый.
Зеленый тоже мне нравится.
Это котенку нравится.
Котенку нравится, а нам с тобой розовый нравится, да?
Нет, это мое.
А,
Ты отдаешь, это нужно.
мне надо фиолетовый давать.
Нет, это мое.
А то все твое. А вон ту можно мне, вон ту?
Не дам.
Не дашь?
Он дома. Возьми.
А мне самой надо выбрать, да?
Он там еще дома
Ой, там
осталось.
еще много, да, есть. Ну ладно, я там выберу. Спасибо.
Выбери.
Выберу. I finished this shawl and I'm going to make a second shawl. It's part of our knit along. There have been some beautiful pictures in the finished objects thread, and thank you to everyone who is participating and posting their yarn choices and their progress on the shawls. I really love it. At the end of this video I want to include some of the pictures from our Ravelry thread, so hopefully you will see that. And yeah, don't forget that you will have a chance to win one of my hand-dyed skeins. I don't know which ones yet. Maybe the person who is going to win is going to choose it, but I have some really lovely yarn for you guys. So yes, come join us, come chat with us in the group. I constantly check if there are any new posts and I try to answer them right away. I'm usually very good at commenting on anything that you write here in the YouTube space, so I love reading all your comments. Please drop me a line and let's connect. For example, I've been watching this lovely lady and her podcasts, and it makes it so much more special when I read her answers to my comments. I think that's what part of making these YouTube videos is for. Okay, on to the next finished object. As I told you, I was knitting my husband some gloves, which I got the pattern from a book. It's called the engagement gloves, although it was supposed to be color work, but I didn't do the color work. And they're done. They're huge on my hands, but he claims that they fit him perfectly. And this is a really nice yarn with possum that I got here in New Zealand, and I had it in my stash for a year or so. And I even made him some socks with it, but I paired it with some nylon because of course this would wear out crazy quickly. But for gloves, I think it's perfect. You know what I found out after knitting these gloves? I was always afraid of them, and when he asked me first for some gloves, I said, no way, I'm not knitting you any gloves. You can buy them in a store. It would be much cheaper and faster, and you would know what you get. And I just was scared of the idea of spending so much time on making something and all this fiddly fingers. I thought, oh my god, how do you pick up the stitches? How do you knit every... But you know what, after making that gnome, what was his name? Gnome for the adventure cal? I forgot what adventure cal. Anyways, in December I was making this gnome for my daughter, and after that I thought, you know what, this is actually doable. And now that I've finished it, I can tell you this was not hard. This really wasn't hard. I was making it on really thin 1.75 millimeter needles, DPNs, and I did it. It was a bit boring because it was, 10 fingers, but it was totally doable, and I'm really happy that he likes them and he promised he'll wear them. To be honest, he didn't still wear the sweater that I knitted for his previous birthday. It was a really nice cable sweater, but there were lockdowns here in Auckland and he had to stay at home during some cold times and he never got to wear it, hopefully this winter. But he promised he will wear these gloves. So yeah, another finished object. Now, as you remember, I was working on one more object that you know of. The other two I was gonna cast on. So here it is. My second shawl for our SHAWLSOMELOVEKAL is in this beautiful bag. I keep showing it, so I'm not going to talk about it. And I've done some progress. This is a pattern by Libby Johnson, Truly Merle. And this shawl is called Thunder Cloud Kisses. I keep calling it Thunder Kisses, but actually it's Thunder Cloud Kisses. And here it is. And it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on. And this is where I got bored, really. I mean, I love Libby's patterns. Oh, did I finish? Not in the... Oh, well, whatever. Anyways, I'm hoping that very, very soon I'm come to the part where there will be just this pink color and there's this beautiful eyelet, not eyelet, but some lace with big holes. And this is going to be more different than this part because right now this has become really boring. Although I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it when I wear it. Knitting this part was not much fun. I mean, it is fun because it's basically just, maybe it's just the white, lots of white knitting that is really boring, but I wanted to really have my hand-dyed yarn pop. That's why I chose the white as the contrast. Here are my two yarns. They are both 100% merino, New Zealand merino, and this was undyed, and this is my cherry ice cream colorway. It looks very different in the skein than it is when it's caked up, and I'm really curious to see how it's going to knit up because I haven't really knitted with it yet, although I have sold quite a lot of that yarn. I don't have any skeins to show you, but yes, I've really really was curious to see how it knits up. So hopefully by next time I see you, I will have finished this. But at the moment, I have decided to, after I finished the gloves for my husband, there's another birthday coming up, my sister, who was born in June, and she's going to be 35, which I think deserves a special present. That's why I cast on a comfort fade cardigan for her. And before I show it to you, I wanted to say that if you haven't watched the Grocery Girls live cast-on party for the DRK March to May knit along. So, okay, Andrea Mowry, just for those who don't know, if you know, just bear with me, okay? Andrea Mowry is a wonderful designer. I've knitted like 3 or 4 of her patterns and I love them and I will keep knitting them. And she's designed this beautiful comfort fade cardigan that I knitted last year around this time. And I loved it. This was my first like hand-dyed yarn that I turned into a beautiful garment. So I thought, and my sister loved it and she said she would love something in similar colors. So I said, okay, of course I can make it for her. So I was really, really happy to see that Andrea and the Grocery Girls podcast, Tracy and Joe, I think, Joy, I think that's her name. And they also invited the La Bien-Aimée, Amy from La Bien-Aimée, and Julie, I think. Anyways, they have this video on YouTube. If you just Google it, the Grocery Girls comfort fade cast on party or something like that, you will find it. So it was very interesting to hear the designer talk about the ways that you can knit this comfort fade cardigan and lots of tips. She had lots of great questions that were asked, and I cast on while I was watching this. It was so much fun. So I'm using my DK weight yarn that I dyed specially for my sister because I know she loves this beautiful minty green. She keeps calling it like Tiffany, but Tiffany would be a bit more lighter than this maybe. And I know she loves blue colors, and I'm going to fade it. I showed it in the previous episode for you, but just to refresh your memory, I have a bag full of this yarn, and I had just dyed one of the green skeins because when you start the cardigan, this is the color that you see the least, that front at the front here. So I only had one skein of that. So gradually it will come up to this color with some speckles. And I cannot believe that I haven't taken any pictures of the swatch and I haven't shown it to you. Usually I make a swatch, and if I like it, I just undo it and knit it directly from it. So I don't have the swatch, but you get the idea. I've already divided to this list, and actually I just tried it on and it looks quite cute. The first cardigan that I knitted, I chose the knit side to be the right side, but actually I have to stand up for you guys, but actually I'll show you the difference. So this is the side that I like, but this cardigan is supposed to be worn with the pearl side showing. And it's actually beautiful like that as well. Thankfully the cable is long enough. There we go. Excuse my bruises, my daughter sometimes plays and kicks, and you know, as they do. So yeah, I've been really loving knitting on it because it's a DK weight, it's really fast. I think I've done it in like 3-4 days maybe. And I think for this cardigan I will go as the pattern says, and I will leave this as the right side. I will ask my sister what she prefers, because at some point I'm going to add more colors and I will have to carry yarn and I will have to know which side will be my preferred side. Right. The next project that I wanted to show you, I think I haven't really cast on last time I saw you guys, but this is my Maya top. I think I showed you the yarn for it before. This is my Maya top by Aroha Knits, and the designer behind is this Frenchie, Françoise Danoy, as you can see. So I was so excited about this project, and I'm sorry about the screen shaking. And I thought, oh my God, I didn't even want to knit on my husband's gloves. That's how crazy I was about this pattern, because it was stripes and I was so in the mood of some stripes. So I went and I cast on this interesting construction. I thought I'd show it to you because I was so going to finish it by now, but it didn't happen because I'll tell you why. So this is how it goes. This is the beginning of the whole thing, and this is where I got stuck. First of all, what I did was, there's this triangle that you're supposed to knit together, and I knitted it together and I did something wrong. So I ripped it out. It was all wrong. I think I skipped the decreases here, which was, I don't know why I thought that was what's going to happen. And then I said, okay, so Frenchie says that of course you can knit this piece as one, but it would be better and more flattering if you do it in separate pieces. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to do that. This is going to be easier. One triangle, second triangle, and I don't know what, but I'm 3 stitches more here than I should be, and I'm 2 stitches less here. So I was supposed to finish this part and like sew it together and start the other one, but I couldn't. I just got so upset that I have to rip it out all again. Up to here, I have to rip it all out. But I will do it. I will do it because I think the pattern is great, and it's a very potato chippy knitting because it's basically knit and purl with some knitting. It actually feels like I'm knitting a shawl. It's just that I was so unattentive that I thought it was that easy that I didn't have to look at the pattern or count the stitches, but I should have. Anyways, I will do that. I will definitely have it done and maybe wear it next time. You know, every new video I prefer to wear something that I've knitted, and today it's this shawl. Actually, I could have made a podcast last week, but I wasn't ready with anything yet, so I decided to wait until this week. Wow, I think that's all my knitting for now. It's all my whips and finished objects. And now I'm going to show you what else I've been doing. I could have done much more knitting, but I was so crazy about my new spinning wheel that I keep telling you guys about. This is a Majacraft spinning wheel called the Little Gem. Here's my baby, just to remind you how beautiful she is. Here it is. And as you can see, I have been spinning some beautiful fiber. And I have spun right now 3 skeins. And I marked them, I measured the grams and how many wraps per knitalongs that I did. I just love it, and I'm only wondering what I can make with it. Initially, I told my daughter as well that this is yarn for her to make her something, a cardigan I was hoping, but I will probably end up with quite a lot of meterage because this is sort of like a sport weight, and I was wondering what would I do if I only need maybe not much for her size for a cardigan, so I don't know what to do with the rest of it. Now I'm thinking maybe of making her like a wrap or a hat, maybe something like this that she can wrap herself in, or maybe like a throw on her bed, because then she wouldn't grow out of it, and then it wouldn't really get dirty because she wouldn't be outside with it, and probably it will serve its purpose for longer and maybe even survive to be passed on to her kids. What do you think? Do you think that would be a good idea? Because of course I spent so much time spinning this that I wanted to, I want to make something special that would last longer with this yarn. And just to remind you of how it looks when it's a fiber, here it is. And it is fine Corriedale, 75 fine Corriedale, 15% llama and 10% rayon effect fiber, which is this really cool, a bit, the fiber that's very colorful and a bit thicker and gives a bit more structure, not structure, but like different structure to the yarn. Oh, it's really warm here, but yeah, okay, fine. I'll still wear my shawl. Right, now I think this part is always exciting to me because I love dyeing wool and I love sharing with you guys all the colors that I've done. So I have done so much lately because I bought a new pot and I've been dyeing a lot because there is Wool Fest coming up, which I will tell you, actually I will tell you right now, yes. So on the 29th of May, there will be a Wool Fest here in Auckland, where I invite you to come and see me and all the other amazing dyers and fiber creative people. And I will be first time in this huge event that I'm so excited about. I have been dyeing wool like crazy and I've been thinking about the layout, and it's going to be so much fun because the last year got cancelled, so everybody's going to bring more stuff to you guys and there'll be more people coming, I hope, it's going to be a great event. And also on the 31st of March, we are meeting at the spin-in here in North Shore on the 31st of March at around 10 a.m. I will again include the information about the address. I hope to see you guys there as well. So here's what I've been dyeing. First of all, as you know, I love bright colors, right? So I, of course, dyed up some pinks. And I have been recently dyeing lots of 4-ply thin yarn, but I thought, okay, I need to make some DK yarn. So I have this gorgeous blooming apple tree colorway. And now I started dyeing them in 2s because I have a bigger pot, and I know that people would love something like this in bigger quantities, but I can only do 2 at once. So then I have something similar, which is called the cherry plum pie. Here is the plum part. Can you see why I love it? There's many colors that are mixed in these skeins. I wanted to experiment with flecking and speckling, and I think I achieved the effect that I wanted for it to be very spring-like, because of course for me March is still associated with spring in my head, although here it's autumn. Funny, right? So yeah, it pairs very well with this plum colorway, which I think I'm going to dye over because I don't like how there's lots of this very light color running through. I think I will dye it over. This dark color is so hard to dye because it's just, yeah, it just doesn't go all the way through, and there's this really grayish color in the middle, which I don't think would be nice when it knits up, but yeah. So this is how different they look from each other. They really go well together. And then of course I had to dye up some, oh, by the way, these were 100% merino, New Zealand merino, and this is, I sourced elsewhere, and this colorway is called Snow King, and it is my DK weight and the silver stellina base. So you can see all the sparkles. Oh, I bet it's going to be beautiful in like a really plump shawl, or a nice cardigan for a baby, or as a contrast in some other project. This is totally my favorite colors, as you will see, because I dyed it also on the 4-ply. And this can be a nice complement to it, although this is New Zealand yarn, and this is not, and this has stellina, this doesn't have it. Then I did some purples, because I guess purple, I don't know if I showed it to you last time, but I have this beautiful purple ones, which is the Blueberry Farm. Again, this is New Zealand yarn. And then I was talking to my friends, and turns out that they gave me the idea, not everyone likes these light colors that are bright and happy. Some people prefer something more muted and easy to wear, so I dyed up this beautiful indigo, which is, I called it the Night. And this is my Twist on Twist New Zealand merino 8-ply. So this was all 8-ply. Now let's go to my 4-ply yarns. First I want to show you this. I just love them. I think they look so gorgeous together. So here we go. Let's start with this. First time I will see how this knits up, because I have never knitted with cashmere before. And this one is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And I think it would be beautiful as a shawl or as a pair of socks with some beautiful pattern, because this is a tonal skein without any speckles, because I really love this color. Really, really love it. And in the same color, I have this gorgeous 56% merino, 44% mohair skein. I think I showed it to you like this, but I didn't like how parts of it was lighter, so I dyed it up again and it became a little bit darker. But I think it could be a nice gradient now, and I think it would be lovely as a shawl. So yes, my favorite colors. Oh, they three look together. So nice. Ah. And it would be so interesting to see them all together in one shawl, because even this shawl has this different, although same color, but different texture yarn. Like this is much softer than this yarn, although it is soft as well. This is gonna be interesting. Then I had to dye this plum on my high twist, merino 4-ply with high twist. Beautiful. I love how this base took the color much better than the 8-ply. And then the night that I showed you in DK, I had to do the same on my silver stellina base. And look at the difference. It's just, it really is like nighttime, the night sky with all the stars. I think I would love knitting with it, actually. Probably keep it for myself. Then I dyed up some peach flamingo, which is very similar to what I dyed before probably, but I just tend to gravitate towards this peach, orange, pink colors that I think would look absolutely divine and so tender. And this is my silver stellina again. As you can see, about 400 meters. And this will all be at the Wool Fest, and if it doesn't sell before, and on the 31st, next Wednesday. Then, of course, as I showed you, I was experimenting with this sort of colors, and this is somewhat similar, but I think I did a different green here. No, maybe the same green. I don't know. But I tried to... This is again, as you can see, some sparkles. This is the silver stellina base. And it's very subtle. It's not like lurex or anything right in the face, but it has a little bit of, you know, this secret sparkles in it. Then I really wanted to throw in all kinds of colors in these ones, and they're called Twinkling Lights. It's a silver stellina as well, with all these beautiful neon pinks, neon greens. Actually, neon green was a mistake, but I think it kind of looks cool here. And blues and everything, almost any color you can imagine here. I love it. And then I did, of course, I had to do some more. So the other DK version of it was called the Snow King. This is the Snow Queen, silver stellina. And this is the Snow Queen's daughter, silver stellina as well. Or is it golden? Oh, this is the golden stellina. I don't think you would be actually able to tell if it's silver or gold, but it looks really nice. I just want to make another, oh, I forgot, what did I make? That top that I made using my Lagoon colorway, what was it called? By Caitlin Hunter. Oh well, skipped my mind. But I think every time I see something blue, but I already have that one, it's the same. Anyway, enough of that. I had this two skeins of 80% Australian virgin wool and 20% silk from the very beginning of my dyeing experiments. and I was keeping it for something special, and I decided to dye them like this. And they are called Be My Valentine and Heart. And they're just this beautiful, beautiful, silky, smooth yarn. Well, I think that's all. Now I have like this heap of yarn right in front of me that I would have to reorganize. But yeah, what do you think, guys? What do you think of my new colorways? I really am surprised that I actually like the dark colors as well. I think they would look really cool as a contrast yarn. Oh yes. Or even, what do you think? Maybe yes. This has a tint of that color in it. See this one? So maybe even like that. Oh yes. This would be good for a Steven West shawl pattern, like a slip extravaganza or something. If, for example, one of them is the main color, and then you have this pops of color. Oh, I love it. Right. Okay. Okay. So yes, I have all these new bases for you guys, and right after this, I wanted to ask you a question because it's been a while that I haven't really chatted with you about anything or asked you questions. I love it when you are telling me about your experiences. Question of this episode is, what kind of yarn do you prefer for your knitting? Do you prefer the thicker yarn, like the bulky or DK weight, or do you prefer the thinner yarns like lace weight, 2-ply or 4-ply or sport weight, 5-ply? I would really love to know, because this gives me an idea of what other people like. Right now I'm just trying everything, but I know at some point I have to choose what bases I stick to so that I can be, as a dyer, more predictable for you guys. And kind of second sub question is, what type of fiber do you prefer in your yarn? Are you a bit of like a yarn snob, as one of my customers said? Do you like cashmere and silk and baby camel and what else is there? And yak in your yarns? Or do you prefer to keep it simple but nice with 100% merino or merino nylon? Or do you really love non-superwash wool and things like Blueface Leicester or Corriedale wool? What is your jam? I'm really curious to know, what kind of wool do you gravitate to? I think I already asked you what kind of colors you like, but if you haven't answered that, I would love to hear about the colors as well. So yeah, please comment down below and I would definitely reply to your comments. I would love to know everything you have to say on this. Oh, okay, half an hour talking already. So I think the last bit I wanted to talk about was sharing some love with you about some podcasts that I have been watching recently. First of all, I was so happy and pleasantly surprised to see that Anna from the Dunkelgrün podcast is making a comeback, and she's had a live chat with Pau from Pau Knits last weekend, and it was really early here, but I couldn't sleep, so I popped in to say hi, and then thankfully they recorded it so I could watch it later. But I have been talking about Anna before. She has disappeared for about 2 years now, and she's coming back. If she still has her podcast, please go watch them. She's really lovely. She's this chemist and a knitter, so she combines all these two knowledges, and her podcasts are so informative and inspiring, and she's such a lovely person. Really, she's really a treasure. So please go and watch her. And I think she will be doing more live videos, so you can catch up with those as well. And Pau, he's a knitter from he used to live in Barcelona, so he's from Spain. Now he lives in Madrid, and he has a different style, but he is just as nice and very friendly, and just a very nice human and I think you will enjoy watching their podcast together. Other than them, I've been watching, of course, Inga from the Knitting Traditions and Anastasia from Free Your Sheep and Doug from the Zia Walls Showbiz podcast, I think. So since I've caught up with all of the young girls podcasts, I've been enjoying so much Doug's podcast because she's been podcasting for, I don't know, 5 years now. And I'm only on the 20th of her episodes. And I enjoy listening to her adventures. And I just watched one episode where she was talking about all the novelty yarn that she's brought from Germany. So she's German living in USA. And it's just so lovely to see. I don't see many podcasters talking about this novelty yarn of the fluffy and everything. Everybody seems to be keen on this non-superwash and naturally dyed and everything. She says that she would just knit with anything. And I'm just like that too. I would love to knit with superwash, non-superwash, acrylic, a mix of acrylic with cotton, anything. There's so much variety. Why would I limit myself to one type? I like to try everything. So yeah, definitely check them all out. I will leave the link in the description box, which is, if you don't know, there's a little arrow under this video. If you click on it, there's a box opening with all the information, all the links to the patterns that I'm giving you, talking about, and podcasts, and yes, information about the Wool Fest and the spinning event that we are going to have soon. Okay, I've talked so much that my mouth is dry and I really have to finish, but there is one tiny thing that I haven't talked about. I don't know if you have seen this beautiful bunny, but I am obsessed about this one. This is called Bunny Odile, and I've seen it posted by Alana, who has a shop. I actually have a little video that I can show you. Maybe I did. So Alana, one of her customers, made matching sweaters for her bunny and herself, and it looks so cute. So anyways, I went and I bought this pattern, and it's a huge pattern, so it's really worth what it is. And I wanted to show you why, because it doesn't only give you all the instructions about how to knit the bunny, which can be tricky, of course, but also it has these options for dresses and pajamas and little socks. It's so cute. Let me show you. There's this lovely pajamas and the socks, and they're so cute. I'm just searching for the perfect yarn for the bunny because I think it has to be neutral, so that, there you go. It has to be neutral, so all the things that I would knit for it, for the rabbit, that would go with it. Let's say if I chose a purple color for the body of the bunny, then it would be very hard to find some matching clothes for her. But I'm thinking of something like this fawn color for the body, so it would be easy. Yeah, like this one. So it would be easy to find, to make clothes for her, color choice wise. So I think this would be the next thing that I will cast on, but I think I will have to dye up some wool for that first. And I probably will have to dye up some nylon blend with it, because my daughter is already asking me, when are you going to knit my bunny? And it's so funny because she is really playing with my little gnome that I knitted for her for New Year. So I know that she's going to appreciate it. I might even have to make 2 bunnies, because I really would like to have this knitted companion for me as well. And also she could play with them, because she's obsessed with hedgehogs, and she's got like 3 of them. So it is like a family, the bunny, the hedgehog father, the hedgehog mother, and the hedgehog daughter, of course. And yeah, maybe I have to make a bunny family for her so that she can have a bunny father, bunny mother, and a bunny daughter. Anyways, Thank you so much for being with me, and I hope you really enjoyed this episode. I hope it wasn't too long. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in our Ravelry group with all your shawls. Please come by, say hi. Also, don't forget to show me that you enjoyed watching this podcast. It really motivates me to make more for you. If you have any suggestions about what you would like me to talk about, I would love to hear that as well. And yeah, thank you very much. I hope you and your loved ones are safe, and happy knitting. See you soon. Bye-bye. Давай! Плюх, плюх, плюх! Отпускай меня!